So it's a couple of minutes past the hour. There's more registrants than are here, but they may be joining, and we'll welcome them as they do arrive. But in respect of your time, let's get ahead. Move ahead. So we have had another board meeting since the last update I gave you. It was on September 21st. And it was really focused in on our annual meeting preparation, which is going to be pretty much the focus of my discussion here. And once I do that, we'll have a roundtable to see if any of you have any questions or insights about our upcoming agenda for the annual meeting, or anything else that you might like to share. I'm just happy to chat with you about your situation. In terms of the annual meeting, we did do the typical things that we do at this time of year. So we received the statements from our auditors, and good news, we passed with flying colors from the audit. So thanks, Rima and Hussein. I know that's always a huge pain to get all the paperwork in and answer all the questions and get all of the attestations in. So that was well done, and that is part of the annual meeting package. Our budget was approved by the board and will be submitted to the annual meeting of delegates. And thank you again to both of you for the work that you did with that, and Jan Willem, our treasurer, who was involved as well. And in respect of everything that's been going on, the budget increase is 0 for next year. And in addition to that, there will be a rebate on some of the unspent travel expenses that we had in the year. So when you get your invoices this year, it'll be a typical type of invoice, but there should be a nice little surprise credit line for you. Exactly what those numbers are, we don't know until you work out the spreadsheet. And as you know, each institute pays based on their size, their number of CMCs, the basic fees, the number of institutes there are, and so on. There's a lot of factors that go on into exactly what your membership fee will be. And we received the, I'm sorry, somebody question? Oh, okay. And then not the last, but we also received our members in good standing report, which comes from our membership committee. And I'm pleased that the vast majority of our institutes are in good shape. And there's been a real shift in membership committee over the last few years to move from sort of the police, pay your dues, do this, do that, to really working with institutes to understand what's happening. The survey is part of that, which looks at what's happening in all of the institutes and creates benchmarks for you to look at. But it's also thinking about how do we as a global organization support all of our institute members so that we can do our work better. There are a few, I'm afraid, that are in a bit of difficulty, so we're working with them in terms of helping them through these difficult times. But no big bad news in the wind, as far as I know. Finally, we heard from NSPC, which is our nominations and succession planning committee. And all of you will have heard this already, but we have 8 candidates for board positions. So this is really good news. And I think this is part of the silver lining of what's happened during COVID times. We've reached out so much more to institutes and directly to management consultants around the world that I think there's increasing knowledge of what we do and increasing desire as a result to be involved in the work at the global level. So we have 2 vacancies. Myself will be, well, actually Soren is leaving the board as past chair because I'm assuming the role of past chair. So there's that. So there's that vacancy because the 2 candidates for chair are internal to the board. So one of them will replace me, which creates a vacancy. And then Dr. Han from Korea has finished his second 3-year term. So we have 2 vacancies, 8 candidates. So delegates have a great selection. And for the chair role, 2 very fine candidates as well, both very strong. So delegates will have a hard choice between Rob Bordenstein from Austria and Jan Willem Krakauer from the Netherlands. So anyway, you have videos from all of the candidates. You'll be able to hear what they have to say and cast your vote. It's actually, tomorrow's the deadline for votes. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure that you do. And I'm sure Rima and Hosema will be cracking the whip as well with anyone that hasn't voted as yet. In terms of the annual meeting of delegates, this is our big event of each year, and Rima, Hussein, and others have been working very, very hard to have that in place. We're now recording video reports from each one of the directors and chairs of committees. so that at our annual meeting, virtual sessions, which will be held next on the 14th next week, you will all have had a chance to read all of the materials and also hear from the people who authored those materials. And so therefore, in the two virtual sessions we have, we can focus in on the questions and the discussion. We also have at the meeting itself, the presentation of our new competency framework, which I'm really excited to share with everybody. So, so that will be an interesting part of that. And then beyond that, we have our mini conference between the two sessions. So, so there are four sessions that are curated for us. One's on innovation in consulting. The second one is on innovation in entrepreneurship. The third one is around the future of consulting in terms of new entrants to the professions, young professionals. And the fourth one is around digital transformation. So all of those are important topics. I know because of time zones, not everyone can attend all, but if you lose a little sleep, I think it might be worth it for these events. But if you're just not able to attend, they will go on to our YouTube channel and you'll have access to them there. So that's those are the formal things that I wanted to chat with you about today. Rima, yes, I wanted to hand it over to you.
Yeah, two things to add. Number one, any person who attends any of the sessions will end up with a certificate with one CPD. So every hour of conference is a one CPD. So if you promote this to your CMCs, I believe they would find that something to put the time and effort for. The second thing is that on the 13th, we will have our Konstantinos Award. We already, as you all know, asked for the nominations, and now we have our list of finalists. So those will be announced on the 13th at 13 UTC. The announcement is out. The link is there to register. So please also join us in that celebration. Thank you.
Here's your chance to see me in a tuxedo and bow tie, at least from the waist up anyway. No, I'm really looking forward to Konstantinos. As you know, we didn't have it last year because of COVID, but the world moves on and so do we. So we had to accommodate. So we're doing it virtually this year, and hopefully next year we will be able to do it in person as we typically have. And that reminds me, for 2022, the call for bids for the 2022 conference will be going out shortly. We're assuming we're going to be able to have a face-to-face meeting, and fingers crossed that things will continue to settle. But we will not lose the hybrid part of this, the virtual part of it. So we will have a hybrid meeting where those who can come will be there in person, and those who would like to join but might not be able to otherwise will be able to log in. Of course, time zones are a problem, but hey, losing sleep overnight is not that much worse than jet lag, so so you can still attend. Okay, sorry about my phone. I'll put it on silent now. Any questions about my presentations now, or any insights or comments? So let's just do the round table as we always do, and just see if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to give us insights on from your perspective. So Christian, you're in the sort of top left of my screen, so let's start with you.
I don't have any kind of question because you are very clear, very positive, and the vision, it was very simple and precisely. So I don't want to put more question because already I find what it have to be done and was the vision. Thank you so much, Dwight, from all those vision and share with us such a behavior of consultancy.
How are things going in the profession in your institute now?
In Romania, it's according to the phase of the economy. We have a little bit less of predictability right now. We cross a little bit a crisis of COVID, much worse than the other country. The wave number 4 is up to us right now. We have a sanitary system very weak, and the fight is quite tough right now in Romania. Up to those things, there is a beginning of political crisis, but we keep our street. We are prepared from the transitional rules from the European funds and the new provoke like Green Deal, Farm to Fork, and so on. I'm in that sector consultant. I was today in the morning in the University of the Timișoara to discuss those cooperation between actors and regarding the products in the market, then the county Timiș. So I'm involved all the time because I don't want to stay and look what is happening bad. I want to stay in the positive view and share all the thoughts and the perspective with my colleagues. We have a group WhatsApp. We discussed all the time. We have meetings, try to put the young consultancy in a good way of look how can we use the public money and define a purpose, not only to observe the money and the consumption. It's that add value who have to be very very well understanding, because it's a price of the money, not just to raise your companies, also to educate people and clients, because there is a small percent of education from those money. So it's not easily, but that's the beauty of the game.
Yes.
It's hard, because if it was easily, maybe many will do, because it's difficult and they have to have patience and do sacrifice and be the legacy of the next generation. That's beautiful consultancy life.
I like that. If the problems were easy to solve, they wouldn't need us. So so we're stuck with the difficult ones. Very good. I like that. Thank you, Christian. Alexandra, over to you.
Well, we are okay now. Almost all the members of our association had COVID, but now everybody are good. And I think all of our colleagues have lots of work to do. So we have our economy is, well, we are very poor country as on Western Balkan, and we don't have support by European Union. And anyhow, we are. But the country is open all the time. We have now again trouble with COVID because of that, but economy is all the time going on. So I think our colleagues have lots of work to do and support projects or some things with government or companies. They are working. So I think it's not so bad situation with business in our sector. Comparing with other countries, but we will see what will happen in the future. For now, I think it's very good, and we hope we will be stronger as an association, as an institute. Okay, we are not so big, we are small, but we try to do some things. And I have to tell you, and thank you very much for this 1 year for international, that you had lots of Zoom conferences, thanks to Rema first and the board, because we then could share with our members and with the people, and somehow they were so happy. They were, how to say, Rema, you know that some people were on that conferences from our institute. It meant a lot, because we were so afraid what is going on. We had lots of problems with our lives. We still have, okay, but anyhow, that means that we have some community and about sharing knowledge. The most associations that I know, and I'm a member in some others institutes, associations, okay, in Serbia, they didn't do anything, okay, well, with their members, but I think thanks to you, we did lots of things. Thank you, first, thanks to you. So and somehow people are very happy because they are our members, and I think we will in the future increase the number of people that will be in our association, in our institute. But anyhow, we try to how to say, to have very high level people who are entering the institute, with knowledge, with understanding the business, and we have very high skilled people in institute. We are trying really to do that, to have sense. Okay, so for now we are surviving, but we think that we will grow in the future. It was in this mandate that I had 2 years, while we maybe will have assembly next year. But you know, it's very short time, but we had that kind of bad situation with COVID. But thanks a lot you did with seminars and with the conferences and everything you did. So for now, for me, that's it. If you have any questions, I hear.
Well, I appreciate that, because I know Rima and Josema worked very hard to find the speakers and to get them up and to provide that resource. And it's one of the silver linings of COVID, because if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have thought to be having that kind of connection. So it's provided connections between consultants around the world at the consultant to consultant level. Before that, we always only worked at the institute level, and we're separated from the consultant. So I think that's a positive. I've had nothing but positive feedback from consultants.
Yes, and it's some kind of you managed to bring some kind of community on international level and support institutes. It means a lot for us, okay? Because for now we are small. We think we will grow in the future, but it means a lot, okay? And the people to share something with their colleagues all over the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know those initiatives will continue, so that's very good. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Gabrielle,
and if we can, I'm sorry, if we can support you somehow, you can tell us with that. So we are here for you at international, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gabrielle, how's things happening in Nigeria?
Well, thanks so much. We're doing our best. I want also to convey appreciation to the Secretariat. Whenever we had a misstep, always got corrected, and we appreciate that. We are doing two things. One, to increase the sensitization of CMC to Nigerians. And we organize the monthly meetings, training programs, where people come in, and we think that is expanding. Also, we're working hard with the National Assembly in terms of the Senate and the House of Reps, so that we can get an act that will support IMC Nigeria. And those are two things. And we also, for the younger ones, I think we had a communication from the Secretariat, and we sent in some names, and the Secretariat was quite excited. Challenges notwithstanding, I think we are doing our best. We have a delay in a virtual reassessment, but we're trying to sort out that with a lead assessor. And very soon we should be through with that. We also got in the documents regarding the annual general meeting of this year, which we'll be able to go through, and we're trying to take action so that we'll be very present at that meeting. Rima, if she has any questions for us or advisory comments, there will be
no questions and no comments, Gabriel. None. We've been well and okay so far, so we'll keep it that way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Appreciate that. Any questions about the material or in preparation for the annual meeting?
No, for the time being, what we have read, I think, is just in line with the experience I had in the past. The unfortunate thing is, since the virtual meeting started, we don't have the opportunity to have a face-to-face meeting, and therefore, but this, from what we're experiencing, I think this will soon be something of the past. But I don't have any particular thing regarding the documents that you have sent to us and we have read, and they're okay. If along the line there are any comments, I'm also sensitizing my colleagues about them. But so far, we haven't had any questions regarding the document.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Jason, across town in Ottawa, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Dwight. And yeah, I just appreciate being able to join in today and listen in. I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't come prepared to update anything. But again, it's just, yeah, it's great to be able to connect, and I'd like to be able to do a bit more of this. I know that's obviously being in Canada, we'd love to connect more with a lot of the other institutes, and yeah, just really appreciate this, and I appreciate those updates that I'm hearing from the other institutes, because it's obviously everyone's going through all this upheaval with COVID, and it's obviously created a lot of challenges, and yeah, just the learnings and hearing about it. And I know it's hard, and I just hope the best for everyone moving forward. So yeah, just again, appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Well, thank you for joining in these COVID times. To add one more Zoom meeting to anyone's agenda is difficult. So thanks for doing that, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. So thank you, Jason. Silva. Hi.
Hi. Hi to everyone. It's evening in Armenia, so good evening from Armenia. Very nice to meet you virtually, and hope that, as you told, that maybe next year we will see each other face to face, and also to organize also the hybrid model of conference. But I think that any of us already missed this face-to-face meetings, and even now EU meetings already started to implement by hybrid system. So hope that next year we will meet together, hopefully in Armenia. What about us? I just want to highlight some some activities. You know that we are now going to become a full member of ICMCI. We are in this process, and soon we'll provide the application, and hope that we'll go through this procedure and will become the full member of this big family. The second is we have some plans for capacity building for local consultants, as many consultants are thinking to become CMC, and also thinking about professional skills and methodology, just what are they doing to understand, is it correct or no. The third, we're planning to have some consultancy conference till the end of this year, which will also 10th year of IMC Armenia, and hope that in that period we will be full member as also for ICMCI. So it will be very good case for celebration. And also seeing my colleagues from different countries, I just remembered that we had some connection and also opportunity to cooperate with IMC Iran, which is neighboring country to Armenia. They contacted us and asked us, let's find some points of cooperation as neighbors, not only just colleagues, just also we are neighbors, and we are thinking about to have maybe some exchange of experience visiting to Iran, and their consultants can come to Armenia. And also think, just remembering about this, when I saw my colleagues' notes, I just think that will be better also to think about some cooperation and also exchange of experience between other institutes, between other countries, even especially the countries which are very close to each other. And I think this also can be very good experience. The initiation was by Iran, but I think that it was really very good suggestion to us, and I think that this can be good experience for others as well. And now I am seeing colleagues from Serbia, Canada, Nigeria, which is very far from Armenia, but hope that virtually also we can do this, we can cover this part. Now we are in one place and hope that this opportunity can be used with more effectively, let's say.
Mhm.
This is all about us. I think that I didn't miss anything. Yes, I just want to highlight one case also. You spoke about associations. Now we are thinking about to highlight the role of our association in public-private dialogue. And also USAID is doing some project in Armenia and highly trying to promote public-private dialogue. And for this reason, we are thinking about not only to have conversation with consultancy companies, as well we are thinking about cooperation with other, let's say, neighbor associations, accountants, lawyers, auditors, and also other, and have a very strong public-private dialogue and not only focused on consultancy sector, because in this sector we know that beneficiaries are very professional and mostly they can somehow survive by themselves. But if we combine our resources, it will be very good. Let's say it will have better impact on market.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And thank you for the cheery sounds of your bird in the background. It's a joyful sound.
I'm very sorry. I hope
No.
that my AirPod should close it, but
It
they
was
are next to
beautiful.
me.
No, not
It
to
was
apologize.
beautiful.
Not to apologize. We could hear you perfectly, and it was a joyful sound, as I say. I mean it sincerely. Thank you. So things are moving forward in terms of what we're doing at ICMCI. Typically, in our cycle of meetings between the annual meeting, we have all of our hub meetings, and at the hub meetings we focus on working groups where institutes who are close to each other because they're within the same hub can get together and brainstorm about major issues and look at how to improve things or to develop new programs or to move forward in different ways. Excuse me. So we didn't have that opportunity this year, and although we had hub meetings, and for the first time we had hub meetings in every hub, so that was really good, but they were all virtual, and it's not quite the same as having small group discussions. I know you can get Zoom rooms, but it's just simply not the same. So the good news is this upcoming annual meeting, there aren't major discussion items where we have to really debate about what is the best way forward. We're saving those for the 2022 annual meeting. And one of the resolutions coming forward is kind of a notice actually of intent that from the perspective of ICMCI, strategically, we need to start thinking about how do we engage in more fulfilling ways other bodies other than our institutes. So certainly our institutes are what we're all about, and any work we do is with the intent of how do we make our institutes stronger. So are there other kinds of collaborative activities that we can have globally that we would do that? Our bylaws currently prohibit any kind of membership in ICMC other than sort of geographically placed institutes. I can't even say that. We have a virtual institute, which is CMC Global Institute, but still it's bound in some way by territory. So there are many other associations around the world that work in related areas where we might explore having more formal relationships. ISO 20700 is a perfect example of that, where we have a licensing agreement with EBRD to deliver the ISO 20700 checklist training in their consultant training. And we have an agreement with another professional association, which is in the food industry, where they use ISO 20700, and they heard about our checklist, so they also license it from us. So we think there are opportunities where we can create inroads on behalf of institutes at a global level that can build more collaboration. So I say all this to ask you one more question, because we have time for another round table. So I'd like to ask you the question about, from in your perspective, in your institute, what is the main competition that you have in terms of increasing your membership? What is it that stops you from having as many members as you would like to have in your wildest dreams as an institute? Not joining, I think, is probably one of the major things, because people aren't aware of the institute, but there may be other things. So I'd be really interested in your perspective on that, just to sort of help set the tone for where we're going to be going in 2022. So Christian, how are things going in membership, and what's getting in the way of increasing it to the degree you'd like?
Thank you for that question. It's easy question with a tough answer.
Yes.
All the time there is a challenge. All the time you have to be prepared, and that means you have to be very carefully about the future and how can you optimize and adapt your job. It's very important. How do you manage the expectation from the consultancy who are not in the AMCOR, in our agency, association? Many young consultants think we can help him with the business, to put on the contract, to put on the business, to put around the table money. It isn't, excuse me, it isn't like that. We can create values, and we're able to take those money according to the satisfaction of the clients. So there are some who are disappointed because they don't see us like association who deliver clients from the companies, who are not like a good father and help those companies to take more money. No, our purpose is very clearly is to create a legacy, to be better, to educate him, to stay around us like small settlers till they become independent, like a consultancy, and to see how they can do the consultancy with some add values, because the money are not in our pocket. We are competitor in the real life, and yet we are also a good team to create an study of the quality of the consultancy, because the competition, the real competition is not between us, it's between our concept of consultancy and the other concept who are a little bit a piece of compromise to do things because we are not capable to deliver from entirely economy. So all the time it's a place around us to develop in the name of consultancy different values. And maybe the word of values is not quite better put in that phrase. Deliver things in the name of consultancy. So that is our challenge, is to keep our street, to maintain value and process to filter and educate and put every day better person in the better position, and to show the trust of the clients after the experience near to the old boys, if you allow me to say it like that.
Yeah.
And not in the that answer, I want to tell you, I miss you guys. I miss shaking hands, to stay near to the other, to stay in the table and discuss. I'm hope in the near future we stay each other like we stay in the past. So I miss you a lot to Be an physical team and share into the eyes, not into the PC, because I'm tired of those PC. And I hope we will cross all that period with more lesson to learn and to apply.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You know, I thank you for that. That's very helpful, and I agree with you about the face-to-face meetings. That is something in the shaking of the hand, but it's also outside of the formal sessions, the sharing a meal, the having a drink together. Any of those things help you discuss in a more informal way, and that often creates energy and ideas that we can't come up with in this kind of forum. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Jason, you've moved on. People have been going off and off with cameras, so you've moved up my my list here. Any thoughts from your perspective on competition?
Not necessarily when it comes to competition, at least within Canada. The biggest competitor, if I can name it that, is the fact that the term consultant is not protected in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who could be an expert within a certain field can refer to themselves as a consultant, and it's really then presenting, you had mentioned it, Christian, the value of the CMC and what that brings to the education and professionalism of the individuals that hold the designation. And it's really, in Canada, it's getting the message out that what the CMC is, the values that it holds, the standards that are being placed upon the membership to abide by, and making sure that that becomes known within all the different companies that are out there. That the ideal is that when an organization looks for a consultant, they will look for a CMC. And make sure that they're getting the elite of the profession. And so that's, I would say, so when it comes to competition, that's where we have to get better at advocating for the CMC itself, what it means and what it can bring to organizations and the benefits that can be seen. So overall, from a membership standpoint, we've done fairly well over the last year, which has been very good. There's been a lot of effort that's been put forward to the retention of our members, specifically because if you don't retain the members, then you're not going to be able to grow by adding new members. You're just going to keep losing at the other end. So a lot of effort was put towards that this year in Canada, and now we've switched, and now it's definitely about the growth and looking at opportunities. And you mentioned it again, which is the fact that when you look at our membership, we have a lot of tenured people that are members, and we need to make sure that we are looking to the future, and that we're bringing on board the younger professionals, even engaging with students. And we're doing a lot of work with some academic partner programs whereby we're onboarding students to make them aware of what the association is and what that does. So trying to build up that youth aspect while also supporting and providing the value to the existing and the longer term members. So that's pretty much been our focus over the last little bit.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Silva, what's the perspective from Armenia? Oh, Alexandra had a question for Jason first. Sorry, Silva. Go ahead, Alexandra.
I don't have a question for Jason. I want to say something connected with them, but Armenia, okay, first, then I can.
Okay.
It was very, thank you from Canada and from others. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Okay, Silva, back to you.
Okay, just recently we decided to do one big need assessment just to understand the market, what the consultants want, and also it's already the second year we are thinking about corporate membership, and still now we didn't come to this. We started to talk. I don't know what is the situation in other countries, but I think that Big Four is not so much interested in, I don't know, CMC and also to become member of ICMCI Armenia. Maybe this is only in our country, but I would like to ask anyone, do you have anyone from Big Four in your among your members as individual or corporate? It's very interesting. We talked with Grant Thornton, KPMG, also local big consultancy companies. As already I have mentioned that the consultancy market, they are very professional and somehow they are not interested in this advocacy or other services as well capacity building, because they have maybe their own resources on this. Also, somehow it's not, they maybe are not interested in CMC. I already talked about this, that we need to make CMC more powerful certification for any consultants. But this is what we want to somehow improve, because it was for us, we tried to engage them, but the big and strong management consultancy companies are not so much interested in membership of association. For this, we just need to find something new, something interesting for them for interaction. The second part, I like the idea of engaging the youth, also to make it academic course. Also, we discussed it with Iranian colleagues. They already prepared 1-year course for local university for, let's say, MBA persons. And this is a really good opportunity, and we are also thinking about this to start cooperation with one university for PhDs or MBAs or graduated MBA students, let's say, and prepare 1-year course, maybe 6-month course for longer and deeper management consultancy, and afterward they will let's say this will solve a question of finding a specialist, because I don't know in any market, but it's still difficult to find a ready consultant, let's say. Even to find consultant, it's very hard to find for consulting company. And I think working with a university, we can solve this problem for big consultancy companies, and they will be more interested in cooperation with association. The second, it will promote the profession, because in our market, and I believe that in many markets, management consultancy, first of all, you need to explain the profession to businesses, then to sell it, also to explain the management consultancy. If we start to work with universities, it will promote the profession as well. Also, it will promote the certification, and as many certified consultants you have in market, as much you can ask for maybe EBRD government to make it as a prerequisite for hiring any consultant for any project or something else. But I think these are the steps which we should do for creating more interest in market for consultants, for consultancy companies, and also for others as profession. This is what I think. Now, most of our members which we have, and new members, every year we are having new members. Mostly they are individuals who are interested in certification and also who want to become part of community. And I think nothing more. And this also from another part is creating difficulties, because there is low motivation for creating new services, for new demands. They just, if the consultant is interested just for certification, after getting certification, they are just somehow the passive followers and not the motivated members. And it's very difficult to create something strong with low motivation.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll save the Big Four discussion until the end, because I think that's a very important point, and we might have some answers from some of the other attendees here. On the university one, just before I come to you, Alexandra, on the university one, I'm a huge fan of that, because exactly as you say, you're either helping those who desire to become management consultants to give them the track of education and training they would need. And even if they don't follow the consulting track, it creates awareness of what consulting is and how to use consulting if they go into the private sector or government sector. So I think it's a win-win in whatever direction. And I don't know many people who go through the MBA program who don't have consulting in the back of their mind at some point in their career. So it's a good thing to be involved with. So we'll save the Big Four, because I think that's a really important one. Alexandra, over to you now. Sorry, thanks for your patience.
Okay, thank you for sharing this, how to say, experience, what we have in different countries, and Canada is very successful, as you know, and others. I want to say that we have, for example, we are a small institute, and we became last year, I think, the full member of 2 years ago, full member of ICMCI. And we have some members that are getting passive after certification. It's okay, but it's normal. I think it's normal. But the core people that are core of this institute, we 10 years we built it, the institute, with some things that means ethics and means highly professional things that we should have over our consultancy business and what we are doing. So finally we managed to be a part of you, but anyhow, we have all the time, now we have again dilemma, because some members wants to expand a lot our institute. I think with for example, cooperation with some companies to support us with money and so on, or some people are expecting from the institute to make them money, okay? So it's, now we have in our strategy to have very high skilled people who are become members of our institute, and then for certification, of course. I always tell people when I try to make a difference who are consultant and who are CMC. The issue of methodology, how we are doing our job. You can be expert in some area, but methodology is the approach, and ethics are two key points who we are. For me, and all the time we are approaching that people with that. So lots of people respect us because of that. The members of our institute are very respectful in their area, okay? So we are not so big, but always it's an issue, because I think other associations, for example, in Serbia, in the region, lots of people made careers over some institutes, associations, their careers, or they they became popular somehow, and they did nothing for the society of community or community, for example, consultancy, okay? So we are really try to gather people who are on the same level of ethics and same level of not, okay, you can be better or not, but I think about how you manage things. But you need to have some level to be part of this story, especially with ethics. It's a key story, and you know, in other areas, and as a Harvard Institute, Harvard University, and everywhere else, ethics they are talking about ethics is a new area. And I think the ICMCI has that core of values. And it's something that we can have to use in the future and make differentiation between us and some others. So I'm sorry I'm talking like that, but I really feel that's it. And who wants to be with us? Of course, Big Fours or somebody else, but lots of them are making money with the states. I don't know how, maybe not big fours, but big companies are making in consultancy money with governments and maybe some institutes made. By the way, I don't want to talk about that, but they made the money with somehow dealing with somebody. Okay. Well, I think we have something that it values and our capability to do the best for our clients, who whether it is. Okay. So it's for me. We will have in our institute again workshop where we will again discuss about approach, about how much people we will enter inside, or if we will dealing with, for example, some businesses to support us with money. And you have to make, for example, some criteria for that, not to do it. So we will have that kind of workshop in the future. We have strategy till next year, but we will again talking about that. That is every year issue, how we will approach and where we are going. So that's some things, but I think that the value of institutes and the value of the ICMCI is something that ethics and methodology that we use in toward our clients. Okay.
Yeah, well said. I agree with you completely, because unless you're a member of the institute and where you're accepted by your peers as someone with those skills and capabilities, and subject to your code of conduct and to censure by your peers if you don't abide, this is something that you can't get when you just put up your business card that says I am a consultant. So that's very well said. Gabrielle, we're talking about, I see you're having trouble with the internet and you're in and out. We're just talking about competitors and competition in our marketplaces.
Yeah, I have some challenges with the internet, but it's okay.
Good.
Competitors in Nigeria, there are very many. We are focusing on what I have learned from ICMCI, CMC Global. And basically, we're promoting, trying to see how much we can get the younger ones to join us in this profession. And the economy is very challenging, and unemployment also has affected a good number of young ones with potentials to join our company. The only thing challenge we have is our CMC is valid for 1 year. At the end of 1 year, you need to resubmit yourself to be reassessed before you are recertified as a CMC. And not many of them return. So many of them they don't come back. So we're trying to see what we can do to make them come back and be connected with us. And also, we're doing our best to make sure that comply with. I don't know whether I made some sense. Are you hearing me?
It's difficult. We're getting maybe 60% or so. So I think I'm getting the gist, but it is a poor connection, I'm afraid.
Okay. Sorry, the connection has given the challenge.
Yes.
I wrote you a note in the chat, Gabriel. Just read it. Take note of it, please.
Okay.
So Gabrielle, I'm sorry. We'll see. Hopefully your connection will improve before we end the call. But I did want to come back in the last few minutes to the big four. So the irony of the situation is that we were founded by the large consulting firms of the day.
I've seen Rima's comment in the chat. Yeah, I've seen Rima's comment in the chat that the recertification is 3 years. And we're working on 1 year. We'll look into that.
Okay, thank you. I'm afraid we just can't hear you, so we'll have to move on. It's just I'm sorry about the connection. I'd really love to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
what might work is if you turn off your video feed, the audio might work better. So let me do this discussion about the Big Four, and then we'll come back to you and see if that works. So the whole concept of ICMCI was founded by the large consulting firms, and this was when consulting was first conceived as a profession separate from auditing. So it was the big audit firms of the day started their management consulting profession, and they wanted to create an environment where there was some kind of way of indicating to clients that they were different from those people out on the street who were saying they were consultants, not that much different of a problem from now. So they did form that. Over the years, as the consultancy practices built within those organizations, they built their own intake and training programs. So all of the big firms now, you know, KPMG, EY, PwC, Deloitte, whatever they might be, McKinsey and so on, now do have their own internal training program so that they can assure a level of competence of their consultants before they're promoted up to the next level and then actually allowed to go out and work directly with clients. So their feeling, for the most part, is that if someone's carrying a card that says KPMG or it says McKinsey, that there is an assurance of quality that they are giving to their client organization. So the value of the CMC as it is not seen as of much value as it is to independent small and medium-sized businesses, where that quality of and the competency is assured by peers through an institute. Now that doesn't mean in many countries the big firm does not stand in the way of someone getting the CMC. So in many cases, we have people from Big Four who are CMCs, but it's not that the Big Four would require each one of their consultants to be certified in that particular way. Where there has been success in integrating the Big Four has been through our accredited consulting practice forum, where the institute creates an agreement with the large consulting firms that operate in their country, where they would accredit that company to offer the CMCs and ensure that they have all of the processes in place to do that. But even that is tentative, and it's not been successful in many institutes. It very much depends on the branch of the Big Four or the large consulting firm that's operating in that area. So it's strategically, it's an issue for us as ICMCI, because we do aspire to be the voice of the profession. And I think the CMC is critically important to independent consultants and small, medium-sized firms to show that level of competence, which you can't get by anointing yourself to be a management consultant. So that's really important, but we do need to work out what is our relationship with other management consultants who are working in large firms and ensure that we're representative of the whole population of consulting. So that brings us right to the hour. I hope that answered your question, Silva. I know it's not a nice, pat, clean, here's a bow on it answer, but it is something that we're aware of and working on. Rima, yes, please do add.
I just want to put on the table the fact that some IMCs already have good relations with the Big Fours, and they are part of their membership. But again, like Dwight said, it's due to the ACP. So maybe if you are seeking that, Silva, or if you want to enhance your offering to them, maybe after the annual meeting in way into November, you and I can have a call and I can tell you what the ACP is all about. And then I'll put you in touch with Patrick from Ireland, and there he can maybe support you with how to, what to, if you feel it is a feasible means for you to reach the big consulting firms in your country.
Great, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Christian?
Thank you. About the dimension, I want to give you a hope. In Romania, there is a phrase: the expensive or quality goods are kept in the small bottle. So it's not important the dimension. It's all about quality, because the big five major company have some horizon, some issues, some procedure. We want to keep the quality like an approach from the clients, like emotional, like feeling like specified things who are not covered by the big and monumental procedure and thousands of paper. we are more than that. We are human. We are very near from those companies and become a trust partner, not just a deliver solution partner. So want to stay in the small bottle if the satisfaction is enough from that. I don't want to be a big bottle at all.
Yeah, very good. And there's another light that is coming, and that is that the large consulting firms are re-looking at their business model now with what's happened in COVID and with the increasing virtualization and barriers between countries coming down. They're seeing increasing value in having fewer staff full-time and relying on specialized expertise of qualified people in different parts of the world to support programs locally. So there, the CMC all of a sudden starts to have value again, even with the large firm, in terms of being able to support projects in a collaborative way with big firms, which didn't happen before, but it's starting to happen more and more. And I think we'll see it continuing to increase. So that brings us a little bit past the hour. So I thank you. Both rounds of discussion were incredibly helpful. I really do appreciate that. And this will be on our YouTube channel. So if you think this discussion would be of interest to any of your peers or colleagues or anyone else, please do pass on that information to them. Gabrielle, I know we've been having trouble. I'll give the last word to you because we had to cut you off because of your connection previously. Fingers crossed, we've got audio now.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, you can.
You tell us if we want to over Patrick maybe to make some connections with the companies. If we that big four, as I understood.
No, you will. I will put you in touch with Patrick, who's
Okay.
the person at IMC Ireland, and because they follow the ACP and they have members from the Big Four, he would be able to tell you how they did it and the benefit from it. But he wouldn't be able to connect you to the Big Four because in each country, each company has its own structure. So you would need to do that locally.
We will see in the future about our institute how they want to approach, because for example in the past we had here some people that were with them were arrested here, so I'm not so sure how we will approach that. If we the members of the companies,
if it's among your strategy, if it's among your strategy.
Okay. Well, we have to care about our reputation anyhow.
In Silva's case, it is one of their strategic standings, if I may call it that, in order to enhance offerings to the bigger consulting companies. So we might have a solution to support her.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
But first step is to talk with Rima about what ACP is and how it might apply, because that will give you the insights about whether it's something you want to follow or not in your country. Okay, wonderful. So Gabrielle, I see that you're still having trouble. You're wavering in and out. So I thank you very much for participating. I'm sorry about the internet. I always love everyone to be able to participate fully, but thank you for that those insights that we were able to get from you. And thank you all for joining, and I look forward to seeing you at the annual meeting of delegates next week.